Hey, Timmies, it's Psychic Bob. Woo! We done made it to Friday. I'm telling you, it's been a crazy week with Psychic Bob, but I'm glad to be here with you. And yesterday, we went out, had a vlog, had lunch. You guys said how much you enjoy going out to lunch with me. And I love to take y'all out to lunch. So if you didn't see yesterday's video, definitely check that out. We went out on the town. It was just a time for Psychic Bob to chillax and have fun. Part of the spiritual journey is just kicking back sometimes. It's not always about being serious and intense, but I like that part too. But yesterday I gave you guys a little bit of a hint. I said, we're going to have a special guest here today. My dear friend Kendra, he is here. And I told y'all the wrong name for her yesterday. I called her Kendra the Divine Healer, but her actual name is, I want to make sure I get her, Kendra the Divine Purpose Mentor. I love that name. That is just beautiful. And she is a treat. You guys, when I hinted she was coming, some of you knew who she was. You're like, oh my God, Bob. Well, guess what? We got her here. Kendra.
Hi.
You bring you. Hello, darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I tell you, I'm so excited to have you here. People are been waiting to see you, and I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that you're here. So
thank you.
Maybe I thought you could tell us a little bit about your name.
Okay, so I don't remember who it was, but when I was trying to figure out how I could bring my gifts forward and use it in a business, somebody said, well, what do you do that you just can't stop doing? That even if somebody paid you to stop, you couldn't stop doing. And I'm like, well, even people that I've gotten into fights with and we haven't spoken to like for years, they come back to me and they say, because of you, I started living my life purpose in this way. And because I feel like I always see the highest potential for people. And so I just started using my natural gifts to help people live their divine life purpose.
I love that. I think that when you start on the spiritual journey, it's like it's a major transition, and it's like there's an awakening, isn't there?
Yes.
And I think you had that awakening. And I've been teaching a class on mystical travelers, and I definitely know you're a mystical traveler. Mystical travelers are those who jump on that, I call it the super highway of spirituality. And
my archetype is literally the Skywalker.
Oh, tell us about that. I want to hear a little bit about that.
So with the Galilean, it's echoing.
Oh, sorry.
The Mayan galactic archetypes, I'm the archetype of the prophet, the red crystal Skywalker. So it's the time and space traveler. Are you getting all of that feedback on your
No, I'm not
end?
getting any feedback here. Anything? It shows everything's normal on my
end. Okay, so I guess just mine.
Maybe let's ask the chat. People in the chat, are you guys getting an echo feedback? I'm not picking it up. Let's see what they're saying. I want to give a shout out, by the way, to everybody in chat here. Euphoria's here, Giancarlo's here, Mona's here. Hey Mona, Meerkat Cage is here, Queen Nadine, Stardust is here. This is great. Yes, Mona, I agree. We're all excited about having Kendra here. Laura Doss is here. Laura, are you saying no? Okay, nobody nobody said they're getting any feedback. So
okay, well that's not surprising. I often hear things that nobody else hears.
I'm not surprised. So I'm sorry, I cut you off. We were talking about your archetype, Skywalker archetype.
Well, I don't know a lot about it. Like I don't study it or anything. I just know that I'm the red crystal Skywalker. So I'm an angelic messenger, and it whereas people they're like, oh, I want to learn how to astral travel and stuff. And I'm like, I want to learn how to stay in my body because I am always in multi-dimensions at all times. So
I love that. Well, see, This brings up a very interesting point because, as you know, I came from a spiritualist background. And in the spiritualist tradition, we always say, the spirit world's dimension overlaps with our dimension. And in our tradition, we say, there are many layers and levels of the spirit world, that it continually expands. I'm just curious, is that kind of similar to how you're viewing the universe?
Right. Like the past and the future are all happening now. They're just in, it's like different layers. It's like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like if I lower my frequency this way and kind of shift it, I go into this dimension, and it's all about my intention too. So as a child, it was just like I would be zapped to another time, and like I was seeing another life, like in South Africa, and I've seen growing up in Australia, and I've never been to these countries, but I was teleported there, like throughout the course of my life, to the point where it's like those memories are just as real as my childhood memories. So
How fascinating. So you're able to, in a sense, like transcend time, space, continuum limitations.
um I feel like the how they talk about like twin flames and stuff, I feel like we are all a thread in the tapestry of life, and that we have all of these threads of our consciousness that stream that's being fed to other physical bodies. And I feel like I have the ability to travel to the actual bodies that this incarnation, the consciousness stream, is being fed. So like I feel like we're all one, and like I call in different aspects of myself, especially like with working and stuff like that. So I've tried it out, and with my Conscious Connections Council group that I lead on Sundays. At first, I was like, I want to call in, all of the fractured aspects of self, and I called in nothing but other Skywalkers, and it was all female Skywalkers, and I was like, okay, so let's try this again. Like, let's call in the galactic family. And so like now, like my roommate, she is my hidden helper. She's the yellow star. And then one of my best friends, like she puts me together with the rest of the family, the galactic family, the kin. So
This is amazing. So let me jump back here because I'm really fascinated with this. Um, so you know that in your work, what you're saying, you've discovered that all the timelines are now. So like a previous incarnation that you might have had, you can go back and actually be in the time and experience it again. Is that correct?
well, I feel like it's happening now, and that's
It's
why you're
happening.
remembering
Yes.
it.
I
Yeah.
get it. So you're not remembering, you're actually reliving it as it exists.
Right. You're just tapping into that dimension where it
This is
exists
fascinating
now.
because this brings up a question that I was discussing with somebody recently, is that, like, for example, in spiritualism, they say, you die, you go to the spirit world. Um, and my question has always been, if we get to go into the spirit world, and let's say that's true, and we get to examine our lifetime, and we choose to reincarnate, my question has been, like, when I die and I go to the spirit world, can I choose to come back and experience the 1950s? Like, can I be in a different time zone? Like, so once I leave this body, okay, and I'm done on this earth in this time, when I'm in that place of the spirit, can I say, you know what, I want to experience more, I want to learn more, but I'd like to do it in the 1950s? Have you had any experience that that's a possibility?
Well,
Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. But because we're always expanding, I don't like when I tried to go into that, I can't really see that happening, just
Okay.
because when we're choosing our next life, it's more so that in order to elevate to become like a spirit guide or a guardian, you have to complete all of the lessons, so to speak, of this reality. So like it's more so what you didn't get in this life that like the I don't really know how to explain it in like words, but
No,
so
yeah, keep going. Yeah.
so when we come down here and we take that pill and then we are unconscious to why the hell we're here, you know, we go around and we unconsciously hurt people, or maybe we consciously hurt people. And so like I feel like that life review, we see all of the ways that we hurt other people, and we see it from a different perspective. And I feel like the quickest way to get out of having to do it again is by, when you're experiencing something and your emotions are really in it and your ego is really driving it, to pop out of your perspective and witness yourself, not to dissociate, but to witness yourself so you can actually see the totality of what is happening. Because a lot of people say, you know, you need to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, but like you're still in your body, you're still in your perspective, and now you're projecting how that other person is feeling instead of witnessing it from the outside of your emotions. And I feel like that is how to elevate your expansion to where you can literally go anywhere and you can use the laws of this universe to benefit you.
I love that. I think that is so profound. You know, it's interesting what you're saying because I know that I had a near death experience. You've heard me mention that before. But one of the things that happened, which is really interesting you're saying this because now it's making a lot more sense to me. One of the things I experienced was that they showed me a scene from my life where I had a girlfriend. And when we broke up, I said some really hateful things at the time. I'm ashamed of that, but I did. And what they did is they put me inside her body. And I felt the physical impact of what I did just through speaking. It mortified me. I mean, I was literally crying. And I remember I fell on the ground. I couldn't even look on the angels and God or the divine. I don't even like the word God, but the divine presence that I was in at that time.
But they
So,
don't want you to be ashamed of it. They just want you to feel it so that you can take responsibility for it. And next time you're going to go, oh, wait, I'm not going to do that again because I remember how that felt. And I don't want to intentionally do that to another person. But before you did that, you were just speaking from your emotions. Like you
yeah.
didn't do anything wrong. You were just unconscious of how it would affect anyone else. Now you know.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I know. And that's like one of the things that changed my life because now when I'm angry at somebody, I literally bite my tongue rather than just
Right.
blurting out. And
Right.
I know.
Because it's easy to do that. It is. And I witnessed that a lot. And but my grandmother, you know, she was a natural born healer. She was a healer in her church, and then she was actually shunned from the church and called a witch when she saved a little boy from dying.
Oh,
And when she was 10 years old, she got in a fight with her mother, and she said, "I hate you. I wish you would die." And her mother fell over, had a brain aneurysm, and literally died. So my grandmother taught me, you never speak hatefully to anyone you love. She does, I don't care how angry you get. Understand that when you do that, know, like, have that intention behind it. Know that you are, if you're going to say something, you are putting that energy out there and you can hurt somebody with that energy. And so I know I've definitely said hurtful things, but I've had that intention to hurt someone, you know, when I was in my early 20s and stuff like that. But now it's like, no, I don't even put that energy out there because I've had the reflection of, even when I've sent a dirty look to, you know, my partner. I used to be a bartender, and my partner would come in and they would be playing pool, and you know, I would get jealous about something, and I would send this energy out, and they told me that it was like shards of glass and knives coming at them, and they would turn around, and they were the ones that made me see how I was affecting other people. And she actually told me, you can either send me shards of glass and razors, or you can send me rainbows and butterflies. It's all depending on your energy that you're sending out. So, I mean, that made me very mindful. But I think every experience that we have in life makes up the totality of our learning.
I agree. And when I hear you talking, the thing that it reminds me of, which I think some of you all agree with, is that we're much more, what's the word I would say, multifaceted, and our expression carries far more weight on many levels than we even realize. I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
you know,
Even just our thoughts, our negative thoughts. Like there's a practice where you allow yourself to go back to a memory, and if you want to, harm the perpetrator and burn them or whatever, it's always good that you make sure that you're putting that entire process in a bubble that is secure. Because yes, you need to allow yourself to experience that anger and to burn, or do whatever you need to get it out of you. But you also need to make sure that you're in a sacred space, so that can bring healing and not more hurting.
I like that. I like that. Let me ask you, how might people, like people here in our chat group today, how might they create a more sacred space in their lives so that they can not do hurt?
Well, I feel like salt, for one, for me, like if you want something physical that you can actually create a circle and put that around you, or like visualizing, like we do with Kelly, like the God bubble, or the Merkaba, creating your Merkaba around you. Just something where you can go to it and it's your go-to. And when you're in that space, you're setting that intention that it's going to stay within this, and you're going to burn it till it's clear.
I like that. I've had a
Because
lot
if
of
you're
good.
just sitting there and you're just in your mind and you're just wishing bad on someone and you're like, they're physically feeling that. You are energetically hurting them. And that's why people talk about psychic attacks and things of that nature. So I just feel like it's a missing part that people often forget to teach.
I think that's really true, because back in the 1930s and 1940s, people in the psychic world had a lot clearer understanding of psychic attack. In fact, you probably read, or maybe you at least heard of it, Dion Fortune. She was a wonderful mystical writer. Back in the 1930s, she wrote a wonderful book. You should look it up if you haven't read it. It's called How to Defend Yourself Against Psychic Attack. And one of the things she says in that book is, thoughts are things. Like, a thought is no less lethal than a dagger. Like, we
Absolutely.
think, oh, that person's here, they picked up a dagger and stabbed somebody. But she said, thoughts can be daggers.
Absolutely. 100%. And when you're super sensitive like me, like my entire life, for one, like I've never been able to hear somebody lie to me. When they lie, it does this vibration in the energy and it just goes zzz. So I would always be like, what was that? And like they would say it again, and then I would watch that meant that there was a lie. But until I knew that, I was just like, oh my God, I can't hear you. I literally can't hear you. And it would piss people off because what I found out is that most people don't even know that they're lying. And most of the time it's they're talking about a belief system, or they're talking about themselves. And it's something that they actually believe is true, but the vibration in like the harmony of it vibrates off. And I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, but I'm super sensitive. So when somebody gives me a push away energy, I'll be like, ow, like that hurts. Like, why are you pushing me away? That's rejection to me. And they'd be like, I'm just saying, like, I don't care about this. I'm like, and that's a push away. Like, so I feel like because we've been so unconscious and people don't understand energy, that now as we are starting to awaken and people's sensitivities are heightening, it, a lot of people are losing their shit because they're like, oh my God, they're awakening to the reality of all of the toxicity that we've been unintentionally doing to each other. So I feel like getting back to basics and just like the direction of energy and, you know, allowing yourself to give and receive an equal energy exchange and just teaching those basic things is so incredibly important.
I think you're so absolutely right. As you have a YouTube channel here. By the way, Kendra, can you tell everybody your YouTube channel so they can go subscribe? Y'all got to go over, check out her stuff. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's YouTube.com/C/Kendra Divine Purpose. And then my website is KendraDivinePurposeMentor.com.
Okay. When this video processes, I'll have Kendra's links in the info box in case you missed that. But I wanted her to put it out there because I know a lot of you are really tech savvy and will get that right away. So, it brings up the whole issue, and I'm sure you've seen it. If you've been on YouTube, of course you have. But there are a lot of channels that are making, what's the word I'm saying? They're getting a lot of attention for negativity. Have you seen that? Like they make everything a crisis, everything, oh my God, the world's ending, Have you seen that? And, I say as a psychic, how is that impacting our society,
So I'm also on the Higher Self channel, and they have a massive following. And I noticed that I was on there for, like probably like 4 or 5 videos, and I wasn't really getting a lot of people coming over to see my channel. But then I put out this video about the fear algorithm and how like this algorithm was sent out and it like triggers your survival instincts. And I was super triggered. I was in the energy of it when I did that video. And oh my God, I was flooded with emails. And I didn't even want to put up the video after I made it because I was like, God, I don't want to put out this fear content. But I noticed that people were really drawn to it. And I think that people can look at that and go, okay, well, now I'm going to put out more. And I really want to ask people, like, are you feeding the problem or are you trying to create a solution? Because I get that a lot of people are in that state and you can reach more people, but like, then let's bring them over to the other side,
I think that's a really interesting idea. So you're in a sense presenting them with the truth that will take them to a higher truth.
Right. But then giving them a solution, because otherwise we're just adding fuel to the flame,
I agree. I like that. Well, in my psychic work, I kind of have a rule is that I tell the spirit people I won't receive a negative message like a death message unless there's a way to intervene on that. There's no point in me saying, oh, you're going to die next week if I can't stop it. What good does that do? And it sounds like you operate in that principle as well. It's about transformation, isn't it?
Right. Like I noticed that I create a lot more when I'm in a higher vibration, so to speak, because I want to share that energy. And then I got into this place where it's like, because I want to be authentic, but then I also don't want to share that energy if I'm not in a great headspace. So it's like this balancing act of like, where do you draw the line of not sharing, but where do you also like allow people to see all of you, so you're not just putting up this face and you're like, I'm happy, love and light and everything, and just like bypassing what is the reality and the totality of your life.
I love that. I think you're so wise.
Thank you.
I tell you guys, what I got to tell them this. I met Kendra through Kelly Coffee, and you all know I love Kelly. Kelly and I are buds. And then I got to meet Kendra, and I said, oh my God, my life just keeps getting better. I keep getting these amazing people who are so enlightened. I feel so privileged. Kendra and I take a class in the morning with Kelly Coffee. And Kendra, don't you think like everybody in there, it feels like I'm sitting with all the ascended masters?
Oh, you know, I think it was like the second class when she said something about way showers and that she's the teacher of way showers. And I was like everything, you know, I was talking about vibration and when things vibrate at a lie, like, but when truth vibrates, it vibrates through every cell of my being. And like my, you know, I say spirit bumps because all of my hair will be standing up, and it's always my confirmation from the universe that source is saying yes. And when she said that, I was just like, it was like a full download. Like, she is definitely a teacher of teachers, like the teacher of masters. So it's even written in her archetype as the primal force, the dragon. So
fascinating, isn't it? It says it. You guys, you know, I have to say, if you get a chance, you need to take the Kelly Coffee 30-day challenge. If
absolutely,
because it
she's an
really,
amazing teacher.
it pushes you to break out of your patterns. It pushes you to expand your way. Like as a psychic, you know, I think, okay, I've been doing this for 30 years, you know, da da da. But when I went into that class, and Kendra, I think you totally get this. It's like there are whole different ways to doing stuff that I haven't even looked at before, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And just like that, keeping you accountable. I mean, everything that I set my intentions for the first day, remember like getting a new house, like all of that manifested within like 3 days. And then I was moving in to the house that I didn't even like have the funds for when we first started. And then it was just like, bam. And I'm not saying that it's like some miracle quick fix, but it keeps you accountable for those things that you say you want to manifest. But are you really doing the steps? Are you really focusing? Are you really, you know, doing all the things necessary in order to put yourself in alignment with those things you want to manifest? And also the bonds, like just, and like she broke me out of my pattern of, you know, me having a hard time waking up early in the morning and stuff like that, just keeping me accountable. It's really been a great experience.
I just want to acknowledge Raul is here with us also today.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Raul. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. By the way, we got a comment. Christian Druid 1313 Clifton says, I love this. So she's a big fan of what you're teaching today.
Oh, thank you.
You know, speaking of teaching, I thought maybe you could also tell all the two-piece here a little bit about your work as a spiritual teacher and as a mystic, and you know, kind of what do you offer? Do you do readings? Do you teach classes? Do you write books? I'm going to hear a little bit about what Kendra does.
Okay, so I did write a book, and it's about to come out. It's called Shadow to Light, The Doorway to Enlightenment, and it's about my life and my journey. And I am a metaphysical anatomy healer. So metaphysical anatomy is the books over there, but I studied with Yvette Rose, the author and creator. And I use that for its trauma release, and that process really changed my life, and it woke up my mother. It released me from trauma that I've experienced, you know, years and years of talk therapy didn't touch it. And one session with her completely allowed like 22 trauma cycles to complete within me within a week, where I was seeing like the somatic memories of physical abuse coming up to the surface to be healed. So I am not, I haven't studied any other healing modalities, so to speak, but I did study psychology for 10 years. And that was my focus and practice in school until I dropped out right before my internship, because I was told by one of my very first teachers. She was teaching my last class, and she said, what is the most effective method of treatment? And I said something along the lines of, you know, empowering them, giving them tools necessary to go out and and live their life. And she was like, no, it's cognitive behavioral therapy and medication. And I literally threw up. I left the class. I was so distraught because I had had issues throughout the process of getting my degree, to the point where I was like, well, maybe I just won't work with clients because I can't really live up to these ethics that they want me to live up to. But when she said that literally I was going to have to diagnose people within the first hour when I wasn't qualified to diagnose with anyone, and reading the DSM, there's literally a diagnosis for every personality type. And I was seeing like the causation for those, the root cause, what we do with metaphysical anatomy. We look at what actually caused it. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that something has happened to you. And if you actually deal with what has happened to you and you complete that trauma, you're not dealing with these crisis cycles, and which they call, mental illness. So I couldn't bring myself to complete that because I knew that I couldn't create a change in a broken system, that I would just have to find something different, something new. And I feel like I've found that with metaphysical anatomy. I definitely have brought my own flavor into it, and I trust my guidance. So when I'm working with somebody, if I get a download to do this, it's always I'm working with their higher self and their guides. It's not my own thoughts. I clear all of that out of me. I have my clients do a client sheet before we work together, and then I go into their energy. If there's any blocks or trauma that they've experienced that I haven't, I go into that. So I complete it within myself before I work with them. And if there's something that I haven't dealt with, that when I'm looking at it, it's triggering something within me, I make sure that I complete it within me, heal it, and then work. Because I never want to bring my own thoughts, my own triggers into a session, because I will never do harm to a client. But as far as like mediumship goes and readings, like that is something that I've tried so hard to suppress my entire life, because it got me in a lot of trouble. Like when I was in kindergarten, I remember as I was walking into class, I grabbed my teacher's necklace and I said, "I love your dad's necklace." And she was like, "But how do you know this is my dad?" And I'm like, "Because he's standing right there and he just told me." And she was terrified. And that was just kind of the story of my life. Every time I acknowledged the spirit world, there was something wrong with me and I was having to go to doctors and all of this stuff. So I tried very hard to suppress it. But it causes anxiety when you do that. And so, yeah, I like to give readings, but I also like to teach people how to do it themselves, how to connect with their own guidance, and how to listen to the universal messages, how to ask the right questions to get those answers that you're looking for. And that's what drives me and motivates me, because I'd never want to be somebody's crutch. I don't want somebody to rely on me, because it's not me that's doing the healing. It's not me that needs to bring through the messages. Like, we're all capable of these things. And I also have a course on self-love mastery. So it's a year-long intensive where it's literally kind of like what Kelly's doing, except for we meet once a week instead of every day. And that's for a year. And because self-love, it's not a quick fix. And we have been programmed to hate ourselves. And I mean, even with the cartoons that I grew up with, it's like if things aren't going right, then you just go blow your brains out, right? So it's like that unprogramming of everything that we have been socialized to believe is completely normal.
Wow. I'm blown away here. You know, it's interesting you say that you shied away from mediumship in your life, and I can certainly understand that. But you know what I'm hearing is that you are still channeling. You are in, people that come to you are receiving a channeling experience, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. See, this, guys, for those of you who are just tuning in, we've got a real light worker here. That's what I'm trying to say is this is really great. Listen closely to her because she's really attuned. You know, I get a lot of people want to come on my show, and I don't interview them because they're not really tuned in. And when I bring somebody on, that's my endorsement. That means you need to listen to them. And I love that. And Kendra, if people like wanted to connect with you, like you do, like do you do hour-long sessions or half hours or 10 minutes? How do you structure a session if somebody wanted to sit with you?
So the only thing that I have under an hour is a discovery session, and that's 45 minutes. And I think somebody that's on the chat right now that I've worked with scheduled a half an hour, and even she was like, oh, a half an hour really isn't enough, because I didn't even have anything priced for that, just because that's like right when you're getting into the flow of things. But most of mine are over an hour. But even in you just saying all of that, like it brings up all that fear. Like I need to go into hiding because of my gifts, So I'm so happy that, no, don't be sorry. It's just, it's me witnessing how much I've been not even being completely transparent with even probably my viewers. Like, I wonder if people even on my channel know where I'm getting my information, because I've really never talked about it. And so I'm really happy that we're doing this today, because I don't want to be in hiding. I want to be able to give my gifts to the world. I mean, that's what I teach people on a daily basis. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate your openness and your honesty. One of the things that I think is so important in spiritual work is being a worker with integrity. And
yeah,
the thing
absolutely.
that I knew instantly the day I first met you was, this is somebody of integrity. Because as a spiritual, it's the truth, as a spiritual worker, we hold a lot of power in our hands when somebody entrusts themselves to us. Because it's not just a joke. We're dealing with deep life issues. And this is one of the things, sometimes the skeptics say, oh, you psychic people, you're all just crazy and milking people for money. I said, if you sat with us for a day and you saw what came before us and you realized how intense the work we do is, you would never say that. And this is what I like, is because, one of the things, and I bet you've had this, I'll be interested to hear if you've had this experience, but there are people in, like where I live is a very wealthy area. And I have clients that have literally millions and millions and millions. And they have enough money, they could afford to call me and have a reading every single day with me. And I could make a lot of money. I could, charge them $1,000 a reading and rack up $10,000 a week just from one person alone. I don't do that because from an ethics place, that's controlling their lives. And what I'm hearing you say is that you're very interested in empowering people.
Yes, that vibrates completely as truth. Yeah, I'm one of the only people that I graduated with metaphysical anatomy that hasn't raised my prices. Like I just won't, I won't even, I've turned people away. Like, okay, you've been with me for a year, but I never allow people to rely solely on me. And I think any of my clients that have worked intensively with me can attest to that. I always bring it back to them, just as Kelly does. So
I love that. I love that, because there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in our field, the spiritual field, that
and I feel like we are cleaning up that mess of the people that have pretended and that have taken advantage of. I've seen countless people that have come to me like, somebody told me I have this curse on me, and it's just like, you see it in like movies and you're like, you've got to be joking. Like, they really told you this? Like, it's just, it's disgusting, and it cannot exist here on this planet any longer. Like, no.
I had a case a few years back where a lady came to see me for a reading, and she said, can you please help me, Psychic Bob, get back the money? I said, what money? What are you talking about? She said, well, this other psychic, who I won't name, she's still local to our area, told me that there's a curse on my daughter. She will never be able to complete high school and go to college unless I give her her entire college fund. This lady had saved up like $60,000 for this girl to go to school. And she handed it all over to the
Oh,
psychic. And the psychic said, well, thank you. And next year you'll get this back double. It'll all come back from the spirit world double. Lady never gave her a dime. She never came back. And this lady was desperate because a year had gone by and she was freaking out. And I had to tell her, I said, you know, you're not going to get the money back. She's stolen.
no.
And I actually called the local district attorney's office to report it because it was a crime, I believe. But what was interesting is, you know what they said to me? They said, well, the lady agreed to the lady that did the business with her is a licensed business, so they couldn't stop her because she's legally licensed. And she said, did she do any service for you? And the lady had to tell them, I said, well, she did burn some candles for me. And the guy said, well, you know, 60,000 is a lot of money to burn some candles. But legally, technically, it's not illegal.
Yeah. And that's goes to show like how we have been giving our power away and been manipulated for so long that the free will treaty has been violated. And that's why a lot of us are here now. Because when you willingly give your free will to someone else because they're manipulating you into it, and they're telling you that if you do this, then you'll get that, then there's nothing that any law can do, not even universal, because you willingly did that. It's just like when we take a substance. Like I have nothing against people using substances for whatever. Like that's your life. It has nothing to do with me. But just understand that when you are taking in a substance, you are willingly allowing any entity that is attached to that substance to enter into your physical body. And every single substance, including alcohol, that's why they call it spirits, has an entity attachment. And so the first thing I do when I work with people that have addiction, the first thing we do is we remove the entity attachment. And then we have to get down to, you know, like what was calling for you to reach out for that. So that's the only one that I have to have at least 2 sessions to complete that. But that's a lot shorter than, you know, going to a rehab.
See, I agree with you. I've always felt that there is a spiritual element attached to addictive behavior.
And the thing with like things that are like chemically created, like meth, for instance, that I've seen the demonic attachments that are created when somebody is intending. It's just like with the molecules with the water, you know, when you project that, when somebody has that devilish like energy and they're creating it because they need more, and that energy, I can't really like put it into words, that has created a life of its own, and it's really scary. And I watch people that I love that have no idea what they're doing, and I had to really pull far out in order to see this. But like when you're taking that inside of your body, it's not just that you have an attachment. You are literally allowing for that lower dimensional demonic being that can't hold space. It can't be 3D. Now you're giving it a physical body. Now we have demonic entities that can just normally just attach. Now they're actually getting bodies. So you have to be very conscious about what you're doing here, and just make sure that you're clearing that. And it's so important if you're doing something like that to have it in a setting where you have an intention and you're blessing your space, and you're making sure that you're saying, you know, only entities of love and light are allowed in my space, and things of that nature, so that you're not just unknowingly giving your entire body away to an attachment. And I'm not trying to like create fear or anything.
No,
I just want people to understand that it's not just you're doing something bad. Just know what you're doing. Like just have that consciousness.
I agree. I think, you know, we see a lot of this. This is one of the things where I differ with some spiritualists. Some spiritualists will say there are no evil entities. Well, I'll tell you, I've worked on exorcisms. They are. And so when you're telling me about these these conscious entities connected to drugs, I can affirm you're absolutely accurate on that, you know.
Right. But these are also like, I don't think that they're apart from us. I don't feel like it's some, like there's a, it's some demonic energy that, no, it exists. And I understand what it takes when you lower your frequency and what creates that. So I know that it is a part of me,
So
but
it's
I'm
like
also,
a partnership of our lower self, maybe.
right. Yeah. But it's like, they can't come down into a physical body because they're lower than the third dimension. So they can't take that shape. Plus, all demonics that I've seen have been thought forms. So we are creating it. It's not some other planet or other, it's thoughts. When you are thinking hateful thoughts and you have at least 3 people thinking those, like spreading gossip, you are creating an entity. You're creating a demonic energy. And I see it, it's like a black, like almost tar that like floats above people when they're doing that. And it goes into wherever your weakness is in your body. Just when you're gossiping.
I think you're so right. Again, the power of words,
Yes.
power of consciousness.
And intention. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Kendra? We got a question in the chat if you're open to answering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plasma John Doe writes, may you ask Kendra how to block psychic attacks when you are out somewhere, not near home, etc. Do you have any suggestion for that if they're not at home, if they're, don't have their salt next to them?
Well, see, I feel that if you stop feeling like things are against you because you stop being against you, then they can't even enter because there's no rips within your body, your etheric body. So I feel like the quickest way to do that is to heal your incomplete trauma and to make peace with your past so that you don't have anywhere for it to enter. It won't be a vibrational match. But as far as like protection and stuff, I probably would be like the worst person to ask because I just don't believe in it. But I do believe in like having pink Himalayan salt. And if I'm feeling like other people's energy and it's like, negative energy, I will grab some salt and rub it in my hands and just clear that energy out of me. I bring it to the core of the earth to be transformed. So, but I feel like when you try to protect yourself against it, it's just, it can feel like I've tried to do that and it feels like almost like electric shock, like you're just like zapping each other back and forth. So I think it's better to just bring it out of you, like out the soles of your feet to the core of the earth.
Okay.
And then activating that Merkaba or your God bubble around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump topics here just for a second.
Okay.
I want you, if you feel like you could say that, share with me and our viewers here one of your favorite experiences in your work as a spiritual teacher. Something you want to share about a client or a case that that really was a transformative experience for you and for the client.
God, there's been so many.
I threw you on the spot with that one.
There was one of my very first clients. We got into the session and mind you, like I had just started. And when she went into, I was trying to keep her present in the here and now because I don't need to know. We don't need to relive the memories at all. I just need you to tap into the emotions. But she started reliving the memories and taking me with her. And I was like getting really afraid to the point where I was like, holy crap. Like I've gone through a lot, but not as much as she has. And if anyone has like the right to be an evil person, it would be her because everyone had hurt her. And at that point, I was just like, I'm not qualified. And I started to go into this like freak out mode. And I heard my teacher's voice in my head to get out of my way, my own way, and disconnect from my own personal emotions, because I was seeing her as separate from me. Instead, just clear it and connect with her and allow for the guidance to come through. And that's what I did. And it was through that we completed the session, and she ended up becoming, a client for the next 2 years. And now she's a lifelong friend who, it was through our connection. I'm going to start crying. She taught me unconditional love, because I mean, her ability to still love after literally everyone had hurt her and abused her was just so incredibly inspiring to me, and taught me that like there's no amount of trauma or pain or victimization that can happen to you that can make it okay for you to become a victimizer. Like you don't have the right. No one has the right. Like it's all just love or a call to love. So she really taught me that.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's transformative. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, are you open to maybe taking a few questions from the chat if people had some
Sure.
questions? Would you like to? Do you guys have some questions that you might want to ask Kendra? Hold on a second. I think we have one. Uh, let's see here. Okay, Loki says, what can I do about my relative with anorexia? Are there any spells or I guess I mean techniques, anything you could suggest that might help them with that relative that has anorexia?
So I would say stop looking at her. Like a lot of the times when we see people we love suffering, we project that suffering. Like we see them suffering and then we feel that sadness, and then we feel the powerlessness because we feel like we can't help them. And that actually does more damage than good. So what I would do is continue to visualize her in a healthy state, her completely, you know, what I'm getting is like there's a lot of I'm getting body dysmorphia. So she's not seeing herself clearly. So that means that she really needs to be reflected, that positive light about her. And maybe not focusing so much on the illness. Instead, just focus on empowering her to see herself in a more positive light, and to not feel powerless, to understand that it's her experience and that she chose this experience, and just empower her. So
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
yeah.
I hope that helps you. Thanks for asking.
I suffered from anorexia in high school, so I do understand that.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question that I thought I'd throw out here. Oops, where to go? James, let's lost it here. Yeah, James Cody wants to know, can you address about the power of prayer? Any thoughts you want to share on the power of prayer?
Well, I feel that prayer or meditation daily is just absolutely necessary. But I feel that prayer has been taught wrong. Prayer has been taught in a way that it's like you are praying to some almighty God, that it's taking orders, and you're wishing and hoping and doing a lot of that. And I just want to say that when you do that, you're sending your energy out and it's not landing anywhere because you don't believe that it's possible, and you're giving your power away. And because God exists within you. You are just a piece of God. And so you have to, when you're praying, you have to visualize it already as if it's happened, and set your intention and really bring it back inside of you. But I feel like it's like that moment to reflect and have that, the witnessing experience, but don't do it in a way where you're wishing and hoping and just sending that energy out, because you have to be looking for the equal energy exchange. It's like when you love someone that loves you back and you're focusing positively on them and like gazing into their eyes, and they're focusing positively on you. It's like this equal, it's like this beautiful dance, and you're both giving each other energy. But when you're like fantasizing about that person over there that doesn't know you exist, you're sending that energy out. It's not landing on them because they don't even know you exist. So they're not receiving it. So you're just sending it out. And then people wonder why they're like so tired all the time, because we're sending our energy out to all of these things that don't exist. So there's no way for it to come back to us. There's no equal energy exchange.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I love that. Christian Druid 1313 Clifton has a question. They said, I've always been struggling with depression all my life. What can I do to keep it at bay? Any thoughts on depression?
What was the last thing you did that was fun? Depression is about, feeling like we have to do something that we don't want to do, or feeling like we can't do something that we do want to do. So I would see where you are not allowing yourself to have what you desire. Understand that you can't unwant something or undesire something that you desire. So where are you telling yourself that what is available to everyone else isn't available to you? And start to switch your focus to see how things are available to you, how the universe is working for you, and start to take action in a way, simply just by like doing what feels better to you in the moment. Like with every choice, bring it back to choice. Allow yourself to see that you have the choice. And I feel that will really start to, and also get away from, I'm seeing a lot of people around you that keep projecting onto you. Pull out of all of that consciousness and really find yourself. I would stop identifying with being somebody that is depressed, and just, try on a different, like if you were a method actor, try on a new personality and see what that feels like. Tap into that, give yourself a new name, give yourself, a whole new life if you want. I mean, with moderation, just tap into like what it would feel like if you weren't depressed.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you. Oh my gosh. You think you're up to one more question?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to have to watch this back because I'm not going to remember what I'm saying.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's what happens when it starts coming.
She's channeling, the spirit is working through her. I'm telling you guys. Nicole's Spiritual Corner has a question I think you'd be able to help her with. Is what can I do? What can I do about my relationship with my parents? And me and my mom are not talking right now.
Whew. Well, that hits home.
But maybe you can just like at least start in a little bit on that.
So you and your mom aren't talking anymore. So there's a lot of pulling of energy because, it's making me dizzy. There's a lot of needs that weren't met for you in childhood and throughout the course of your life. And I'm seeing it's almost like your mom has become conscious of this, and it's caused so much shame. And then there's this disconnect. So I get that you hold, I don't know why I'm hearing like you hold the upper hand. I don't know what that means, but if you can just tap out of needing that validation and that contract of her being your mother, like it's doing a lot of damage to you internally on your organs. It's really taxing your body. So if you could just pull out of that and start to find your own validation and meet your own needs, whatever those needs are, and then those needs that need to come from a maternal figure, go out and find somebody that it can show up for you. It could be a best friend. It could be, whatever it is, and just ask directly for whatever it is. Can you hold me? Can you rock me? Can you sit with me? Can you just be present with me? Whatever it is that you needed from your mother, allow those wounds and those needs to be met by another person, allow it for, because it's like you're trying to get milk from the hardware store, as Teal Swan likes to say. You're trying to get those needs met through a vessel that's just, it's never going to come through that way. So allow for it to come in through a different way, and allow that energetic contract to be severed, so that, because you can have love without attachment. You don't need those cords going out in order to keep that love. And you'll see, as you heal and you start to release it, when your mother comes back into your life, start to get to know her as a person. Start to see her just as a person, not as your mother that you need these needs to come through and all the stuff that's happened, because that will keep you guys like locked in the space that you're at, where like no one's going to win. There's no winning in this. So just go directly to the root of it and get those needs met, and love yourself. Start to love yourself, and release your mother, because she did the best she could from where she was with what she had. She didn't do it to hurt you intentionally.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was a really helpful message. And somebody in the chat, it was a Plasma John Doe, said they just saw energy flash while you were channeling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that happens.
You should see my videos. That happens all the time.
See? Yeah. I'm telling you, you're in the spirit. I love it. Well, guys, Kendra is a very busy schedule day, and so does Psychic Bob. We both got clients we got to tend to. So we're gonna wrap this up here. We could talk to you all day long. We all love you here, Kendra.
Oh, thank you.
I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your hectic life to be here today.
Oh, absolutely.
It
This
means
was
the
a pleasure.
world to me and to everybody here. And I thought maybe again you could tell us, for people may didn't see earlier, how can people connect with you if they want to have a session with you? I would really encourage you guys. As I always say, spiritual work is an investment in yourself.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
if you want to, connect with Kendra, that's an investment in yourself, and you won't spend time or effort or money that you won't be repaid 100-fold. And I'll tell you, Kendra has Psychic Bob's endorsement. You guys know I don't endorse anybody. And Kelly Coffey has said that, but I think I never endorses people because honestly, I haven't found many people that I think are worth the investment. You're one of the people that are worth the investment, and y'all need to.
You can make me cry.
Oh, God bless you. Well, I'm just so glad you're here, and
Thank you.
maybe you can tell them again how we can connect with you. If you have
Yeah.
phone number, email, website, whatever.
Like, where's my business card? You can book directly through my website, and it's KendraDivinePurposeMentor.com, or you can send me an email at info@KendraDivinePurposeMentor.com. I can also type it in one of the comments or something.
Do you have a phone number you might want to give us? Some people like to book right away. They might want to call you like in the next 2 minutes.
Normally I don't.
That's all right. Just go to our website then.
Yeah. Or you can connect with me on Facebook. It's Kendra Anastasia Donsero or Kendra Divine Purpose Mentor. That's my page on Facebook.
All right. Well, we're going to have those links also after this video in the info box. So if you didn't get that, go there and you'll get the links. Kendra, would you, I have a favor to ask of you. On my channel, I have a few people that I recommend on the front page of my channel, channels that Psychic Bob recommends. Would you be open to me listing you on that page?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love
3 or 4 people. Kelly's one of them, and I would love to have you on that list.
I would love to get the 3 of us all on one call. That would be epic.
Oh, yes. We're definitely going to do that too.
Yeah, we have to.
So agree.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been great. I hope you all have enjoyed having Kendra here. Kendra, I want to say thank you on behalf of myself and everybody here for your time, your energy to help us learn. And, you're going to have your book coming out soon. You want to tell us about your book one more time?
Well, it's all up for the editors to get. it all done. So this is my first book. I don't know how long it will be but it will be on Amazon and on my website as well.
All right. So when it comes out, maybe you could come back and we could hear about
absolutely.
Talk about your book.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm telling you, they would love that.
Yeah. And I would love to have you on my channel too.
All right. I would love that. I'd love to come on your channel. See, we're all learning, we're all growing. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And I'm so touched that you're here today. Well, guys, listen, we both got crazy busy days, so we're not gonna stay on here long, but go get a session with Kendra. Invest in yourself, invest in your journey, invest in your well-being. You won't regret it. You're gonna be blessed. Thanks for being here, darling. And I'll have your links below, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Well, guys, listen, thanks for being here. Keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. Make sure you'll be here tomorrow on Saturday. We're going to have our spiritualist class in Sanskrit. You don't want to miss it. So be here. By the way, also, if you want to book a private session with me, you can do that at PsychicBob.com is my website, or call me 703-825-3929. We'll get you on the schedule. But, we're all here to help you to move forward. And I hope that having Kendra here today has been a great help. I know it has been. And I'm glad you guys were here for this. So thank you for all your support. Help us out. Please like this video, favorite it, thumbs up, share it with your friends, put it wherever you want, on your Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Tell people about Spirit Channel. Tell them about Kendra. Let's make it all happen. Guys, well, listen, I'll see you back here tomorrow. And I think tomorrow we're going to have one of my new artworks I'll show you at our class. So make sure to be here, because we're going to post, we have our weekly art posting. So if you haven't got this week's art picture, go to my website, PsychicBob.com, and you can download Green Frenzy, which is my latest artwork, for free that I produced, and you can print it out and you'll have a copy. We're going to have a new one going up on Monday, so get that before Monday. All right, guys, I love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, may you all always blessed be.